Hi guys, it's Ed. Well, I'm going to try one of these video log things here, vlog things I guess. I've never tried this before, so bear with me if it's kind of stupid, but I guess we're going to start off if anybody wants to know a little bit about me and what my roots are. Most of you guys know I live in Forceport, New York right now, which is upstate about 25 miles north of Utica. So when I was a kid, I grew up in Camden, New York, which is about 40, probably about 40 miles west of here. And rural community, farm community, had a couple wire mills in town back in the day. There is still a wire mill in town, but there used to be 3 wire mills. Now there's 1. So that was pretty much your opportunity when I was a kid. Very rural. I lived about 8 miles from town. There was very few neighbors, just country boy. So we had, dirt bikes, the little XR75. Probably see the back tire over here. That's what I had first, and I beat the snot out of that thing for years driving around trails. The person we bought our property off from, we only had, I think, maybe 2-3 acres, but he had like 800 acres, so which was all pretty much free game for me to go drive around on. So and there was power lines that interconnected, and you could go for miles and miles and miles. So that's probably where my love of these motorized vehicles. You needed a motorized vehicle to get around. You could ride your bicycle, but that was kind of tough going, especially for a man of my physique. Yeah, I was kind of a chubby kid, so I probably should have rode my bike more. But anyway, I digress. So I went to Camden School. I graduated in 1992. I was the only person in my family to go to college successfully, make it all the way through. I did 4 years at Oswego State University, which is out on Lake Ontario, if you're familiar where it is, right on the shore, between almost to Rochester. And so anyway, I went there for 4 years, got my bachelor's in technology education, which was the name. If some of you guys are younger, you'll know it as technology education. It's mandated in the 7th and 8th grade, and in the high school it's an elective, but it's basically a shop. So I was a shop teacher, and I started teaching in '96 after I graduated, and I went to Whitesboro High School. I started teaching there, did a couple years. Got a real good line on a school right in my area, right in this area actually. It's the bordering school district, which is Town of Webb, Old Forge. I went up there in '98 and bumped heads with the administrator a little bit. And if anybody knows how teaching goes, you get 3 years, you're on probation, and they can basically can you for any reason in those 3 years. So, say at least I got canned. So anyway, I left there. I went to the school district I actually live in now, but I was pretty bummed out. I was really liked where I was teaching, and it was a good gig. And so I bounced around a couple more schools, and then decided that I was done in 2004. My girlfriend at the time, actually my significant other now, yeah, don't tell her we're not married. We were together. She works in the developmentally disabled, works with the developmentally disabled, and we decided that we would go to, I would go into that field, basically because I needed a job. So I went to some voluntary agencies, like the ARCs and things like that. You guys may be familiar with ARC or UCP or all those acronym places. And I went to work for one as a habilitation coordinator. Basically what I did was I took people who could live in their own apartments, and I set them up with staff because they would need a little bit of help. They might need help going to buy groceries. They might need help cleaning their apartment, or you weren't to do it for them. You were supposed to teach them. An independent living skills trainer is what the staff were called. And it was what it was. The pay was terrible, but it was better than unemployment, I guess. So I did that for let's see here, for about 4 years, different locations. I bounced around. I went from the one company, then we moved up north. My significant other by that time, she was actually working at the state. She had got in with the state of New York. She had started out in the voluntary agencies. But then once you get in with the state, it's usually a pretty good gig. And so anyway, I was trying to get in. We moved for her to get a promotion up into the Canton, Potsdam area. We lived up there for about a year with my son, who was about a year old. So a year and a half, I think we did up there. We didn't get quite 2, but it was enough for her to get her permanent position. And then we were able to move back down. We bought this house in 2007, and I was working at a voluntary agency. And in 2008, I got a job for the state. And I stayed there for about 3 months in that position because that was crazy. But I got my foot in the door. And then I went to where I am now, which is in Marcy, New York. And I've worked there ever since. I've been there now this past June. Actually, this September will be 9 years that I've been there. In a couple different roles. I started out as an habilitation specialist 1, which basically meant that I worked real close with the guys. I tried to develop plans for them. I tried to, instruct the staff how to work with them, how to, work towards goals. And a couple years ago now, I took over as a supervisor and of the direct care staff. And I still do a little bit of hands-on stuff as needed, but mostly I'm just doing supervision and evals and all that good stuff. So a lot of difference between what I do for a living and what I do for a hobby, I guess. So that's where we're up to right now. I'm not really sure how long that video lasted, but gives you some insight into why I do what I do and why you see what I do. And so I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching, subscribing, commenting, and all that other good stuff.